ఓం నారాయణం నమస్కృత్యం నరం చైవ నరోత్తమం దేవీం సరస్వతిం వ్యాసం తతో జయముదీరయేత్. Generally, when it comes to Purana, people think it is an entertainment. There is a beautiful saying that, look, if you go to listen to any Purana, you will have some punyam. And if you don't listen to also, there will be punyam. And interestingly, even if you sleep off there, don't worry, you are not going to lose anything because nothing enters in your mind. That is how Purana continues every year. People arrange. Those who arrange don't listen to. Those who talk, they nicely explain. And of course, listeners comes mainly for dharma. That's why Purana continues, but nothing happens to people. Why I said this thing? Because when I was talking to one of Swamiji, hey, look, I am planning to take a Padma Purana. He started laughing. He said, Swamiji, what is happening to you? From Vedanta, you are coming down to Purana. Something seriously wrong with you? I had to say, yes, true. Because I noticed nothing is entering in my student's mind. So I thought, let me talk something so that something can enter. However, so Purana becomes beautiful when there is little bit, music. And there should be some bhajan in between, okay? So I think we should incorporate slowly, don't worry. So 1 or 2 bhajans will be there in between, so that it takes time, because 1 hour will stretch. But to the point when I say, we all know, this is a popular verse, goes like this. Ashtadasa Puraneshu Vyasasya Vachana Dvayam Paropakaraya Punyam Papam Parapidanam iti. So if you look at the 18 Puranas, Vyasacharya, who has codified Veda and as well as a Purana, that we'll see very carefully later on, that he says this is the essence of the entire Purana. And what is that essence? Paropakaraya punyam iti. So what is punyam? So punyam means the action when I perform, there is healthy attitude. And that healthy attitude brings a remote result. And that is called punyam. So that means if we are in a good situation, good family background, good upbringing, good job, good wife, good husband, good children, because of our punyam, in our previous life, we must have done something. That's why we have got it. Because every karma, remember, has got karma phala. But all the karma phala is divided into 2 categories. One is called pratyaksha karma phala, other one is called paroksha karma phala. Don't get into papam and punyam. So pratyaksha karma phala means the phalam, the result that comes directly, immediately. Whereas there is another set of karma phala result comes remotely, comes later on unknowingly. Especially if you look at your life, there are incidents you come across, there are people you come across. You don't know why did you come across. So when you cannot find out why did you come across, why it happened, it is because of what? Your remote result. That can be considered as punyam or it is papam. How? When it is conducive for your growth, especially spiritual growth, we'll be seeing in details. That is called punyam, not comfort only. If it is not conducive, it is called papam. So here Vyasacharya beautifully points out that paropakaraya punyam iti. So when I do para upakara, that means when I do something good for others, so that changes my attitude while working. And because my attitude changes, then what happens? Automatically, this brings this remote result called punyam, maybe in this life or life after. So also, papam parapidanam iti. So what is called papam? So when I start putting people into different type of pida. So pida means different difficulties. I try to prove myself by bringing them down. I try to make myself bigger, by creating difficulties for them. All sort of problem I create for them just to establish myself. So that is considered as papam because parapidanam. So now if this is the essence of Purana, that too 18 Puranas, so what is the necessity of studying Purana in details? We understood the essence of Purana in a few minutes. One may ask this question. But remember, this question is not going to be helpful. Why? Yes, we all know that parapidanam papam iti, paropakara punyam iti. Who does not know? That's why beautiful verse goes, what? Janami dharmam nachame pravruti, janami adharmam nachave nivruti. Because Purana means I have to bring quotations, okay? Then it will be beautiful. So here what happens, if I have a good voice and music, then we could have done some music, okay? Then it goes, okay? Janami dharmam nachame pravruti, janami adharmam nachame nivruti. This is how the Purana starts. All these Kathakaras, they do it. But we cannot get into that mode completely. So here he says that we all know this verse is attributed to Duryodhana. He says, I know what is dharmam. I know what is to be done. Also, I know what is not to be done. But unfortunately, I am not able to withdraw myself from what are the things not to be done, and I am not able to engage myself what are the things to be done. This, remember, that I will be able to withdraw what are the things not to be done when I do Purana Sravanam. That's why it is being said that what? Puranam Sruniyat Nityam. As it is said that one is supposed to study Veda, especially when you people do Abhivadanam. So very proudly, you announce from which Gotram you are. Okay, first who you are, that becomes very slow sometimes. Then little Gotram, Pravara. Then slowly comes which Veda, Sakha. Fantastic. but also as you are supposed to do Nitya Veda Patha, as Taittiriya Upanishad highlights, what? That pravachana and adhyayana must not be stopped. One should not be indifferent to it. And here we say that Puranam is supposed to be studied every day. Then question may arise, why one should study Puranam every day? Please understand. If we look at the whole desire package, we divide that all the desire package into 4 categories. Purushartha, okay? Purushaihi arthyate parthyate iti purushartha. That which is desired by people is called purushartha. That's why I say desire package. So each word has got its own connection, okay? Try to understand. And here he says, all purusharthas, means the desire package, is being designed in such a way and presented to us by the scripture into 4 categories: dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. We all know this, not that we don't know. So dharma means what is to be done, what is not to be done. Artha means security, which comes in the form of wealth. Then comes kama, indriya upabhoga. So, enjoying, entertaining the sense organs. And moksha, making one's own self free from them. All our desire, some way or other, will fall into all these 4 categories. But there is a small issue. And that Purana takes care. So here it says beautifully, in fact, in this Purana, dharmasya hi apavargasya nartho arthaya upakalpate नार्थस्य धर्मेकान्तस्य कामः लाभाय हि स्मृतः कामस्य नेन्द्रिय प्रीतिलाभः जीवते यावता जीवस्य तत्वजिज्ञासा नार्थो यश्चेह कर्मभिः. So I know nothing, you understand. So here, suppose my voice is there, music is there, then it becomes very nice. So you feel very comfortable. This is what to be done, okay? So very nicely they do it. However, here one should understand dharmasya hi apavargasya. Please understand, we need dharma. So dharma means what? In the form of karma. So never ever look at dharma as a different personality. That's why in India we had this justice with blindfolded. So now at least a lady closing the eyes. Now at least they have removed that, okay? A dharma always should be open eyes, not closing the eyes. However, coming to the point here, the purpose of dharma is what? So purpose of dharma is nothing but to give apavarga. So what is apavarga? Means moksha. So I do karma to make myself free. But while doing karma, artha becomes accidental. Try to understand this most important aspect in life. I do dharma because we divided all our desire package into 4 categories: dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So, dharma we translated is nothing but karma. Now, what is the purpose of karma? Karma job is to give me apavarga called moksha, to make me free from bondage. And when the job of dharma is moksha, but accidentally it brings artha. So the artha is called pratyaksha karma phala. Is it clear? Whereas while doing karma, my attitude brings or supposed to bring what? Or makes me to lead towards apavarga moksha. But what happens to people while doing dharma? If the person is focused on artha, which is accidental result, which is direct result, then what happens? Artha means here security, prosperity. In the form of prosperity, wealth, you go for security. So when the person is predominantly looking for artha, now the person will not have any other choice, will go for kama. So where you start buying comforts to start with. That's why when the child especially gets first month salary, what does he or she do? Now let me change my phone. That means it's very clear. When my mind is focused on artha while doing dharma, now I don't have any other choice other than going towards kama. And once I get into kama, this is what the verse says. Once I get into kama, it is exactly like getting into slushy or muddy water, full of mud. You cannot come out. The more you try to come out, more you will get inside, unless and until someone helps you from outside. No, I am already in that slushy mud. I want another person who is in the slushy mud. That is called marriage, okay? So then what happens? You know better. So here Purana says, that's why you need to listen to Purana every day to make sure that the dharma does not push you towards artha. Dharma must push you towards moksha. So if dharma some way pushes you towards artha, you are wasting your life. And once you waste, you know what happens. That's why we say very carefully, Purana plays an important role. How? In fact, same thing in Surgakhanda, here in Padma Purana also is being highlighted. Yatha Suryavapu Bhutva Prakasaya Charit Harihi Sarvesham Jagatam Eva Harihi Aloka Hetave Tathevantah Prakasaya Purana Avayava Harihi Vicharit Iha Bhutesu Puranam Pavanam Param Iti. if you observe, especially when there is katha, whether it is Bhagavat Katha, Shiva Purana Katha, or any Purana discussion, you might have noticed people keep the book on the head and go in a procession, which this concept has been taken by Sikh community. And this Gurudwara, every Gurudwara, when they carry Granth Sahib like that, this is the comes from this background. Why we do that? Because we consider that Puranam is nothing but the embodiment of Vishnu Bhagavan. Sometimes we look at as Krishna, sometimes we look at as Rama. In short, it's called Hari, Harati Papani Iti. And being the embodiment of Vishnu Bhagavan, Hari, that's why what we do, we carry on our head. That's why Puranam are being worshipped in the houses. If you go to any, cultural, traditional houses, Orthodox people, what they do, they keep Puranam with the red cloth. Nicely they do the puja, and every day they read one chapter. Because I remember being, brought up in Odisha, especially Odisha, almost every houses and many places do they have called Bhagavatam in Odia language. And there will be one pothi. Pothi means this palm leaf that is being worshipped. But nowadays printed book, every day they will read one chapter. It's an amazing concept. From Hindu Punnima they will start, and in Hindu Punnima they will complete entire Bhagavatam, and every day they have to read one chapter, which is a really good concept. And here same thing is said, that why we study Purana. The first point is, Purana is nothing but the embodiment of Lord Vishnu. So when you are studying Purana, you are with Lord Vishnu. And what does it do? That is what the verse says. How the Surya, Yatha Surya. So same Hari becomes Surya Bhagavan. That's why Viranchi Narayana iti. Surya Narayana iti. So when this Hari is available or becomes Surya Bhagavan, the sun god, what does it do? Sun god dispels the darkness. And how the sun god dispels the darkness? Now this Purana also removes the ignorance, the inner darkness in people. That's why Puranam to be studied every day. What is that? Again repeating, Puranam Srunuyam Nityam iti. And it is really worth to listen to. And especially when you start listening to Puranam, sometimes you may think, especially being a Vedantian, you can say, look, what is there in Purana? So Purana is for, if you say Manda Madhyama Adhikari, I can understand, okay? That means you are at least somehow a Vedantini, okay? So Manda Madhyama Adhikari means the one who is very low or in medium. So I understand, okay, but some people very arrogantly they say, after all this Purana is what? Stri Sudra Adi. It's a very bad word, okay, they use. So Stri means woman, Shudra means those who don't have much thinking capacity. For them the Purana is meant for. Technically wrong. Nowhere it has been said Stri Sudra Adi, this is meant for it. Never ever use it. Wrong things have been, propagated by different people. And of course, number one is my friend called Max Muller. Don't forget him, okay? We have to bring him once in a while. However, here is being said very nicely that when we look at Vedanta and Purana. We have saying beautifully, Shruti Smriti Dvair Madhye Shruti eva Garyasya. Because we need to look at very carefully this aspect. Between Shruti and Smriti, definitely Shruti is higher. Definitely not Smriti. Now question comes what? Why to study Smriti? Already I am in Shruti. So Shruti, other name of Shruti means called Veda. Actually Shruti means, do you know what? Shrutatvat Shrutiti. Because it is heard. That's why we have Karna Parampara, not writing Parampara. And interestingly, Veda is not written. So nobody is author of Veda. That's why we say Apurusheya. It is not written by Purusha, anybody, any human being. That's why it is flawless. That's why it is called Pramana. Pramakaranam iti. It generates knowledge. That's why it is free from all sort of conflicts. It really is free from everything. And interestingly, you cannot find any contradiction at all. Now, when we look at this, we come to another point. Then what about Puranam? So, very conveniently, we put Puranam as Smriti. And what we say, Puranam is written by whom? Vyasacharya. All of you have heard or not this? Because I have heard this much, okay? I don't know whether you have heard or not. So, Vyasacharya is the author of Purana. So, that's why Purana comes under Smriti Grantha. So, only Veda is Shruti. Technically is wrong. So, the first point you should know this today. Purana will not come under Smriti at all. Very nicely, it is being said that in this Padma Purana, that's why Padma Purana is very important Purana for us. Puranam Sarvasastranam Prathamam Brahmana Smrutam iti. As a Veda, as we use the word Omkara atha Sabdasya, Dvavetu Brahmana Puraha. As we give that these are the words came from Brahmaji. Here also says Puranam Sarvasastranam Prathamam iti Brahmana Smrutam. And when it is that, then how can we look at that it is mere Smriti? Because, please understand, this is the lack of communication. When Brahmaji spoken this Purana, that's why here everything comes from Brahmaji. Brahmaji taught this Purana to his Manasa Putras. So the son that was being born out of mind, we'll be discussing that some other time. That's why there is a difference between Brahmani and Saraswati. So Saraswati is not wife of Brahma. Remember this. It's a wrong concept. So Brahmani is the wife of Brahma, not Saraswati. We'll see some other time. So you'll have a lot of clarities in this aspect. However, here is being said that when Brahmaji taught this Puranas to his Manasa Putras, now he actually created Satta Koti Pravistaram. So that means it was 1,000 million verses. Satta Koti means 100 crores. So 100 crores means 1 crore is 10 million. So that means Brahmaji, let us say, spoke these Puranas. That was available and interestingly till now is available. in 100,000 million verses. Now, in due course of time, God understood, hey, look, this is not going to work. Nobody is going to read. It is very difficult, especially in Dwapara Yuga. Also, we'll discuss what is Yuga concept, what is time concept in this book will come, okay? Which will be useful for you to understand during Sankalpa time. However, here he says that Vyasa was born, that's why he is called as Diti Krishna. So he is the second Krishna. He was born not only to codify Vedas, also he condensed, or you can say he edited from 1,000 million verses to 0.4 million. Present day, only 4 lakhs verses are available. 0.4 million verses. And this 0.4 million verses are divided into what? 18 Puranas. Now, if this is the case, how can we look at that Purana is Smriti, mere Smriti? That's why it is more than Smriti Grantha. And interestingly, we also say very carefully that Purana is supposed to be studied before understanding Veda, and that too Vedanta. Because if a person does not study Purana carefully, definitely that person is not going to understand Veda or Vedanta either. They say very nicely, in one place it is being highlighted, that including that Veda is literally scared that if the person does not understand or has not studied Purana properly, is going to start, which is going to what? Beat me differently by explaining differently Veda. And that's why here is another verse says very nicely, Yo vidyat chatura vedan sango panishado divyaha puranam cha vijanati yah sa tasmad vichakshanaha. So that means the one who knows that Vedan also with all the Angas, Upanishads, definitely that person is a Chatura who also knows along with the Puranas. Suppose if you look at the person only knows Vedas, Upanishads, but does not know Puranas, definitely we consider the one who knows Puranas in details, that person is much better than the one who knows mere Veda and Vedanta. So Purana Jnata is much more higher than the one who knows Veda Vedanta superficially. That's why, keeping all these things in mind, I have highlighted earlier, unless and until you are a religious person, you can never become a spiritual. If you try to become a spiritual person without being religious, you will end up in this spirit. Or your spirit will fluctuate. You understand? That's why being religious is being developed, or you being religious. How you become religious? When you look at dharma, that only generates not a mere punyam, but it takes towards moksha. The karma that you do, it has to take you towards moksha. It makes you free. Whereas if it only generates security, if it is only money, that means you will get entangled in the cycle of what? Janma Mrityu. Because artha will lead to what? Lead to kama. So that's why here better to know Purana in details than knowing superficially Vedanta. And that's why when people know Vedanta, study Vedanta, they becomes Devanta. You understand? Devanta means what? They keep the God as Anta. I am studied Vedanta. I don't have to do puja. I don't have to do anything. What is there? Everything is Brahman. Sarvam khalu idam Brahma. So you just scold that person. That time the person will say, how can you scold me? So where is your sarvam khalu idam Brahma? Anyway, let us not get into. Now with this background, if we try to talk so many things, it will take longer time. Now we'll get into this Purana called Padma Purana. So why this is called Padma Purana? Actually, interestingly, many reasons are there. First we say that Hridayam Padma Sangyakam iti. If you look at the entire Puranas as the body of Vishnu, and in that the Hridayam, the heart, is the most important aspect. So also this Padma Purana is the most important Purana in all Puranas. That's why it is called Padma Purana. This is one thing. Hridaya Padma iti. And interestingly, this is also equally important. Why? Because here the Srishti is being talked. So when Srishti is being talked, so Brahmaji, how he was born from lotus, that is also secondary meaning, Padma. And thirdly, when you look at especially this Purana is divided into 5, let us say, cantos. One is called Srishti Khandaha, so where the creation especially, and of course Bhumi Khandaha, the second one. Third one is called Swarga Khandaha. Fourth one would be Uttara Khandaha. And fifth one, I missed one somewhere. That should be fifth one. Srishti, Bhumi, Swarga, Uttara, and there should be Patala Khanda. Okay? One khanda somewhere is missing. Okay, I'll look into later on. However, now here it says that this Puranas is very important for everybody, and everybody gives respect, especially all the Vaishnavas, because this is highlighting Lord Vishnu. But there is a small issue. People think, look, in Purana there is a contradiction. And who talks? Who has never studied Purana, okay? Some listening here and there and comes to the conclusion, Purana contradicts. Did you look at 4 lakhs verses? No. How can you say this? No, in Shiva Purana, Shiva is being highlighted, Vishnu is looked down. In Vishnu Purana, Vishnu is highlighted, Shiva is looked down. In Brahma Purana, Brahmaji is being highlighted, others are looked down. Please try to understand. You are not understanding anything. In fact, here is being said, सृष्टि सिद्ध्यंत कारणात् ब्रह्म विष्णु शिवात्मकः ससंज्ञा याति भवान् एक एव जनार्दनः. भगवान एक इति. There is no difference. But that appears differently as सृष्टि स्थिति अंतकारणात् ब्रह्म विष्णु शिवात्मकः. So when it comes to सृष्टि, we say very carefully rajasic aspect. That time that Bhagavan is called as Brahma. When it comes Vishnu, the sustenance aspect called sattvic aspect, that time is called as Vishnu. And same Bhagavan, when it comes to Antah, destruction and tamasic aspect, and is called as Shiva. We say same way very nicely. How? Like Devadatta. So same Devadatta, the person, is called husband, is called son, is called father, is called brother, from different standpoint, different activities. So how the same person can be called differently? Also, he has a different role to play. Same Bhagavan, based on the situation, based on the activities, named differently. So that's why there should not be any confusion. That's why Sa Brahma, Sa Shiva, Sa Hari. And there is no difference at all. However, here is being said that this Purana very nicely explains how this creation has come to an existence. There are some differences we'll see very carefully. But however, here it says that we need to see the creation, not to get into creation. I want to make it very clear. We need to understand this creation process, not to get into the creation, but just to resolve our basic questions. It is exactly like, I remember one incident when a snake bites. Are you supposed to divert all your energy to heal yourself, or to search the snake? Why did the snake bite me? What happened? What did not happen? Will you do that? I remember in our childhood, if we find that a person is being bitten by snake, we try our best to protect that snake. We don't kill. Because they say that if the snake is being killed, the person may die faster. Because you don't balance the karma. Now imagine, so the snake is alive, you manage it, they protect it. And if you are alive, is it necessary for you to kill that snake? Will you feel like you will just release? And I have seen many cases, not all the cases, many cases. If the person dies, equally the snake dies. Interesting. If this is the case, just look at yourself, what you do. So when something goes wrong with you, somebody bites you with words, with differently. So what do? Do you spend time to heal yourself, or to find out why did he or she do, what should not do, what should I do, why, whether I to kill, beat, or do this thing, do that? So we all waste all our energy differently. So this is the basic thing to be learned. when a snake bites, we divert all our energy to heal ourselves, not to bother about, not to worry about, not to dig into why that snake bit me, what was the reason, whether it is a poison, what sort of poison. We don't have time to look at all these things. So also in my life, when things go wrong, when somebody does something, what should I do? I should spend time to heal myself, not to waste my time thinking about that person. So that's why here Purana study helps you to heal. That's why we have saying beautifully that if you cannot handle your subconscious mind, do Purana Sravanam. Purana Sravanam takes care of many things in life. That's why people not only do Purana Sravanam, listen to Purana, also they make others to listen, they arrange. If you talk Vedanta, nobody will listen to, nobody will also sponsor. But if I start talking Purana, there will be big sponsors, there will be big arrangement, because everybody sponsors in India Purana. I am not telling you jokes. If people come to know I started talking Purana, that too Padma Purana started, Swamiji, please can you do some Purana in our place? We'll take care of everything to you, okay? Including, procession, this, that, very nice. And especially if you look at Kumbh Mela. So many people go there, Kumbh Mela. Very nicely I can say something little bit about Kumbh Mela. Now, topic changing, sorry. This Kumbh Mela, as you know, is called Mahakumbha. Generally, Purna Kumbha, or what we call Kumbha, falls in every 12 years. Mahakumbha here falls 12 Kumbhas. After that comes Mahakumbha. That means it has fallen after 144 years. That's why it is most important. And that's why, more than 500 million people are going to take deep. And so far, if I am right, more than 60 to 70 million have crossed. And interestingly, this is the point I would like to say. Every Swami, they do have their tent, they do give discourse. Mainly Puranas will be there going on every tent. And they say that one is supposed to stay there for one mandalam. So for 45 days. And if a person stays there for 45 days for one mandalam, it is equivalent to, this is the technical word they use, called kalpavasa. So kalpavasa means, so what is kalpa? So kalpa means, we say, Chaturyuga. So that means, so what is Kali Yuga? Kali Yuga is 4 lakhs, some 26,000 plus odd numbers, okay? So we have crossed only 5,000, okay? So don't worry, Kali Yuga is very long way to go. That's why what we say? Kali Yuga, Prathama Pade, okay? So we are still in Prathama Padam, don't worry. Everybody asks when Kali Yuga is going to come to an end. It's not going to come to an end, okay? It's a long way to go. And double of Kali Yuga is called Dwapara Yuga. So that means 8 lakhs plus. Double of Dwapara is called Treta. So 16 to 17 lakhs plus. Then double of Treta is called Kruta Yoga or Satya Yuga. Again double. Put together is Kalpa. So that means what? If a person stays there just 45 days and does sadhana, japa, or listens to Purana and other things, gets the benefit of doing sadhana of entire kalpa. That's why people go and stay there. And if the person cannot do it, at least goes there for one day, if it is pure, like, because technically the best day would be called Mauni Amavasya, which is falling this 29. And if that day, because as per the Shastra, only that day for 45 minutes is the real time. But it is very difficult, almost impossible. Whereas if that doesn't happen, at least once go there. Just do the namaskaram to that bhumi, that place. See the ambience and come back. Why? I'll stop with this today. Very nicely, they say that after this Rajasuya Yajna, Dharmaraja thought of finding out how the place is important. That's why Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre, that Kurukshetra, became a squirrel. Being a squirrel, started, rolling. Discovered one side was become gold, other side did not become. Then says, look, why? Because here many things has happened, that's why it become good thing, gold. Other side, there are certain things did not happen. Whereas when somebody gives some food, annadanam, that too being hungry, being deprived of, because we do annadanam. Annadanam means giving food when we have surplus. Okay? But here is not a surplus, because you do, this is to be done. And that annadanam gives much more, because Rajasuya Yajna was done because they had surplus. In fact, they created surplus to do this. You understand? Whereas when mere annadanam is done, just for the sake of doing it, that gives that punyam. And when you do this Purana Katha, where Sravanam is there, Annadanam is there, and everything goes, is amazing. And everything put together, now in Kumbh Mela, everything is available. So indirectly I am saying, if you want, you can just go for even if one day, just see the Kumbh Mela and come back. More of it we'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.